I thought I'd have a quick look at this Skinwalker Ranch business. I see there's a new documentary about the hunt for the Skinwalker, and George Knapp was there's a I think it's a 2-hour thing that I watched the other day. I watched bits of it anyway with George Knapp talking about this Skinwalker Ranch documentary, and there's a bit of a Q&A there. And basically what it's all about is that all these weird happenings at the Skinwalker Ranch. They get strange animals there, strange happenings, UFOs, you know, balls of fire, and all this sort of stuff. And George Knapp was saying that you know, that for 20 years, I think. Is it Robert Bigelow, the guy that's interested in all this sort of UFO, ET, paranormal stuff, billionaire guy? He bought the ranch and he put some people on the ranch and they set some cameras up and all this sort of stuff. And George was saying that things were moving around on their own almost on a daily basis. I think it's a little odd that things are moving around on their own almost on a daily basis for 20 years, yet there's not one video clip of that happening. Nor is there a video clip of any strange animals or animal activity. It's all hearsay. It's all more tall tales. And the more you look at it, the less, or the more I look at it, the less inclined I am to think that there's anything going on at all. We then find that the road that goes through the Skinwalker Ranch used to be a public road, but Robert Bigelow closed it and denied the public access to it, and also I think he actually legally managed to get it changed so that it's now a private road. And also the owners of that Skinwalker Ranch were apparently mucking around with the water rights of the local Native Americans. Now, I think personally that if there's anything going on there at all with you know, animal mutilations and animals being stolen, it's going to be due to members of the public being ticked off that the road that they normally drive along, this public road, has suddenly been closed off. Doesn't say how big a detour they'd have to do to get around to where they used to go. And of course, if you start mucking around with people's water rights, you know, you're probably going to get people mucking around with you, aren't you? So I would say if there's anything unusual as far as, you know, animals being stolen or mutilated, I'd say that it's the locals. It's a bit of payback, you know, for closing the road and for denying the water denying the water rights. That coupled with the lack of video evidence, George Knapp shows us a clip from the documentary where a CCTV camera, there's 3 of them on a pole. One of them is upside down, all the wires are hanging out, and there's no video of what happened to it. You know, even the video from that camera, you would think that there would be something. It wouldn't just go black, you know, the thing would rotate around, or it would look at the sky, you know. There's no video from that camera either. And of course, well, not of course, but I was watching a clip, in fact I'll leave a link to it below, where a guy went out there, I think with his wife or his girlfriend, and had a bit of a look around. They never found anything. They did manage to find the people that owned the ranch previously, and they said that nothing unusual had ever happened while they owned it. So, you know, it's tall tales. It's tall tales for money, like most of this bloody stuff. There's no substance to it whatsoever. If you sit back and think about it, you know. Team of investigators out there for 20 years, and there is not one video clip of anything unusual happening. If you look it up on Wikipedia, the Wikipedia page says that the investigation revealed nothing noteworthy. There's nothing going on, is there? It's as simple as that. And you've got to bear in mind too that they're talking about seeing strange lights in the sky and maybe fires and this, that, and the other. That is not out of the question because there's a lot of fracking going on right on the edge of that ranch. There's a lot of fracking for oil and natural gas, and even before the fracking wasn't happening, of course, all the oil and gas deposits are still going to be under the ground. So you're going to get gas leaching out and maybe forming a little cloud of gas that will be ignited by lightning or whatever, or strange noises with stuff hissing out of the ground. In fact, I'll show you the Skinwalker Ranch and the fracking on Google Earth, and we'll just have a very quick look at that. But yeah, I don't think there's anything unusual about it. I mean, if I was invited, I'd go there and spend a few nights there. No worries at all. Okay, let's have a look at it on Google Earth. Okay, so there we have the Adamantium Skinwalker Ranch. Adamantium. And apparently it's a shell company that owns it now. The owner wants to keep their identity a secret. So it's now just Google Earth actually recognises it as Skinwalker Ranch. If you just put Skinwalker Ranch in the search bar, it comes up with this: Adamantium Skinwalker Ranch. Adam and the ants. Adam Ant. Someone said they thought that Robbie, that rock star, Robbie, I can't remember his name now. Robbie, you know, the one that appears on the documentary, and he says he saw this UFO and he could almost hit it with a tennis ball or something. Robbie Williams, yeah. So it's possible, I suppose, that Robbie Williams owns it because Adam and the Ants, Adamantium. Adam and the Ants, of course, was a rock group as well, wasn't it, or pop group? I'm a deadly highwayman. Stand and deliver your money or your life. Sort of thing you get from the people that make documentaries about this place. Stand and deliver your money. I can't remember if I mentioned it in the previous clip, but it's quite funny watching George Knapp standing up there, and he's talking about this documentary, and he was sort of involved in the investigation. And he said, "I've got no agenda here. I'm just up here. I'm just telling you what I saw and what happened." And basically, he doesn't tell us. He said, "Oh, there's some things I can't talk about, and this, that, and the other." And he said, "I have no agenda here." And of course, he's written a book about it, and he's selling a book, isn't he? So he does have an agenda. The agenda is to create curiosity. He wants people to be curious enough to go out and buy the bloody book. Anyway, here's the Adamantium Skinwalker Ranch that could possibly be owned by Robbie Williams, who knows? I doubt it'd be owned by Adam from Adam and the Ants. Is he still alive, that guy? Because Adam and the Ants weren't particularly. I don't think they were really big. Well, I could be wrong, of course. You might remember him used to dress up as a pirate, didn't he? Adam and the Ants. Okay, well let's just zoom out a bit. So presumably the dirt road is the road that was a public road and is now a private road. So depending on where that goes, of course, that's going to upset some people with their big F-250s and what have you. Might even get moonshined up and go and mutilate some cattle, maybe. Bit of payback. Okay, so we're coming out, and we're coming out, and we're coming out. And if we look at that, can you see what's coming into view here? This is all the fracking that's going on. Not too far from the ranch. So there's lots of fracking going on. Rock fracturing for oil and gas. All these little fracking, all this stuff here. So I think any weird lights in the sky, any strange fires or anything like that, it's going to be because there's lots of natural gas and oil under the ground. I don't think it's going to be anything supernatural whatsoever. So that's the fracking. And there's the fracking ranch. Adamantium Skinwalker Ranch. And I think this is probably going to be a bit of a business. Oh, that's interesting. What's that? Is that a big radio mast? That's a big that's not a big AM radio mast, is it? You know, you get high power AM radio stations that can cause all kinds of weird effects locally. I wonder if that's what that is. I never noticed that. Or is that a path? Is that a path or is that a big tower? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, what? There we go. So there we have the Skinwalker Ranch, and yeah, it's just I think it's just more hype, no substance. I'll just show you another picture actually of a supposed critter that was picture taken there, and it's an obvious bloody fake. Okay, so there is the Skinwalker Ranch. How good a look at it can we get with this, I wonder? And it's right on the edge of this big mesa as well. So there's the ground has been significantly disturbed there. There's probably a fault line runs along where these cliffs are. So you might get some rumbling in the ground from time to time. Yeah. There's a couple of cars there. Doesn't look like there's any massive security, does there? So, you know, if you were living in that house and there were werewolves and things roaming around, you'd have a sort of steel fence, you know, those high security steel fences all around here, so you could lock yourself off, wouldn't you? There's none of that. It's just a house in a field. So yeah, I think you can put a line through the Skinwalker Ranch. I think it's all hype. I think it's all rubbish. Previous owners never saw anything. You know, no video or of any of these supposed happenings, even though some of the happenings were happening on an almost daily basis. There's not one video clip. I'm afraid Skinwalker Ranch, unconvincing. Okay, I'll just go to another clip and I'll show you this ridiculous adopted picture that was supposedly a critter photographed at the ranch. Okay, now this supposedly is a critter that was photographed at the Skinwalker Ranch. I think it's pretty obviously someone with their legs down there. This is their backside, this is their shoulders. They're really looking forward, but they're wearing a mask on the back of their head. And the picture there, because you wouldn't be able to actually move your hand probably that far around, it would be sort of splayed out in that direction. You can see the elbows there. I'd say the picture's been doctored just to show that. And of course the feet have been removed. Usual fuzzy sort of picture you get with UFO pictures. But that, I think, is bloody laughable. Absolutely hilarious, that particular picture. So yeah, I just thought of something else that George Knapp said. He said, oh yeah, one day they found the gates had been completely ripped off the entrance. You know, the road that went into the ranch. They put gates up there, and someone had just ripped the gates off. Well, if it used to be a public road, that's what people are going to do. And then suddenly you claim it and stop them using it. They're going to come along there and they're going to rip the bloody gates off, aren't they? All right, well, I think that's enough. I think I've wasted enough of my life on this Skinwalker Ranch nonsense. If you go back to the bit where I was looking at it on Google Earth, you'd have to ask yourself, you know, if you were a starship captain, would you fly across the galaxy to go to that particular ranch? What would be there that would keep you interested? There's a couple of buildings and a field, and that's it. So there we go. Put a line through it. Load of rubbish. New business.